it's a holodeck episode, so technically we can talk about whatever we want. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. This Zelda music is very relaxing, yet it is very loud on my end, so I gotta like make sure it's not blowing my eardrums out. I picked some Zelda music. This is like a 3-hour, 2.5 hour long video of Zelda music. Something chill for the background, you know? How's everyone doing today? I didn't stream yesterday. I literally was playing. This is slightly embarrassing. I was playing Project Zomboid like all day. I could have been playing much worse games, I think. So stream today instead. But I didn't. Yeah, Project Zomboid's a very good game. It kicks your teeth in. I ended up going for the builder game mode because I kept dying within like a week of creating a character, survive a week or less, and then dying. So I switched game modes to the builder easy mode because I'm a little baby. I guess I didn't realize. I'm looking at the chat from pre-stream. I guess I didn't realize there was a there was an eagle emoji. It's an eggle. I suppose they could make the people who do I forgot what group is in control of I was gonna say UTC, but that's not correct. Whoever's in control of like how computers read characters and stuff. Okay, I'm timing this person out because of spam. Don't do that. Don't spam my chat. The Unicode, that's the one. It started with a U. I was stuck in my head. Anyway, welcome to the stream. I have everything ready today. Isn't that wild? I started the stream at exactly 6 o'clock. And then, yeah, we got the episode ready, and Connie's all excited. I really don't know how am I gonna discuss? This is a weird episode to discuss because it's all like, there's no environment. It's literally just like holodeck episode. And none of this is foreshadowed. Or has any foreshadowing or has any fucking what do you call it? It doesn't have any like bearing on the plot later or the characters even. Some may say that this is like... First of all, Connie's legs are fucking long as hell in this shot. I don't know what else to say about that except like... I'm thinking about what's that Family Guy bit where it's like, do those legs go all the way up and then it's like the woman legs go all the way up to her fucking like neck? Fake Connie. Yeah, maybe Steven just sees Connie as like taller, and just make her fucking tall. Legs all the way Griffin. That's the one. Yeah. Other than that, well, did I talked about it in the episode where Connie's like really freaking huge. In this shot, she's like huge. I don't. I'm not, like, there's no like, all you have to prove the scale is, like, this table, which she's, like, on the same plane if we're talking about, like, focus planes in a camera. She's, like, on the same plane as this, like, table leg here. So she's just tall as hell. I don't know. How sapient do we think the room is? I don't think it's even sentient, let alone sapient. I think it's literally like ChatGPT levels of aware, which is to say not really. Do you think that the gems are made of material that are named after? I don't know if there's any, like... Well, yeah, because Peridot in one episode says, like, yeah, we're drilling through peridotite. This is what peridots are made out of. So I think all evidence points to, yes, gems are actually the gems they're made out of. I think the room and the AI, like, I feel like this episode, or the way the writers did the room, is a bit, like, prophetic to how we have, like, these AI chatbots. I guess I don't know. I keep looking at tall Connie in this shot. Why is she huge? Yeah, we were just talking about that. Has this always been an extremely low table? I think so. Maybe a little bit taller than that, but in certain episodes, like when they're playing board games or whatever. The table is gone in a future episode, in actually the next episode in Shirt Club. It's gone, but it's gone for a reason. Like, I don't even mention the table, but it's missing for an interesting reason. The storyboarders with their lack of model sheets. Unfortunate. Yet, in a lot of scenes, I don't know, Connie usually isn't, like, a full head taller than Steven, is she? Am I crazy? Is that... I suppose, like, I guess. This looks like pretty standard Connie-Steven proportions. Compared to the other episodes. I don't have any other episodes pulled up. I suppose I could pull up another episode, but then I'd have to, like, rearrange all my Blender stuff. Let me look up... I mean, it's a bad idea to... It's a bad idea to try to compare other episodes, because that would mean comparing different storyboard artists. And, people who draw characters in, like, entirely different ways, because they didn't have those frickin' model sheets or the reference sheets that other shows have. I'm trying to find a good... I think when Steven and Connie, yeah, when they dance and become Stevani, I'm gonna pull this image up. They are basically the same height. Maybe Connie's a little bit taller than Steven. But in this episode, for whatever reason, Connie's like almost a full head taller. Do you think Connie was only able to fuse with Steven? I've heard this theory actually before, that Steven's able to fuse with humans that he has healed before. So, like, he was able to fuse with Connie because he healed her eyesight. He was able to fuse with Greg in the movie because he healed his leg at one point. Like, he would be able to fuse with Lars, right? Lars of the Stars wish list. I don't know. Part of my Lars of the Stars wish list is to not have Steven at all. But in terms of, like, humans that have been healed, on screen at the very least. I'm sure Steven's healed other humans between like the end of the main show and future or the movie. My wish is to see off-color sardonyx. Yeah, that would be like Padparacha fusing with the rhodonite. Do you think any main character will die permanently at some point? I don't know. I feel like if any main character were to die, it would probably be one of the off colors. Maybe like one of the, I don't know. That seems like a cop out to do this, but to like one of the gems that make up fluorite could be like shattered or whatever, and fluorite would be like a little bit changed. I think to make Lars of the Stars work, the off colors, the way they like speak, their mannerisms and stuff have to be adjusted, because fluorite talking really slow is gonna get old. Padparacha just saying the thing that just happened, as funny as it is gonna get old after a few episodes. The reason I think it's so good in the main show is because it only happens in like ironic moments and it doesn't happen constantly. Which of the crystal temps would be first to perish? Pumpkin. I think that's canon, actually. Pumpkin dies. My bet is that we quickly introduce more off-colors or more crew of some sort. That would be ideal. I don't know if that requires budget for voice acting, however. Also, this is, like, just the fact that there's, like, an extra eye on Steven's face is freaking me out just a little bit. Another wish. Okay, we're just gonna do like Lars of the Stars, because in this episode specifically, there's not really a lot to talk about, so I feel like Lars of the Stars wish list. It's a holodeck episode. We can talk about whatever we want because it's a holodeck. The way Connie's hands are drawn here, it looks like she's not really doing much to Steven. Like, she's kind of just gently, like, squishing his hair. Why does meat look like a bowling pin? Let me go back to that frame. Wait. Where was it? This? Yeah, it does look like a bowling pin. What the hell? I mean, it is a turkey leg, but it's like got this flat part here. That's weird. Okay, I've talked about this before, I think. Whenever there's like a fair near me, there's a group, I can't remember which group it is, but they always come in and they always do smoked turkey legs, and they're fucking delicious. And they're like $9 because fair food, of course, it's going to be expensive as all hell, but freaking, that's like my yearly annual, like, I gotta get a smoked turkey leg because holy shit, that's like 3 meals. My prediction of next stream, due to the episode being Shirt Club, we would spend 45 minutes talking about peace in the Middle East. Quote, and we dabble on the lore implications of it. I suppose we could do that. I am down to do lore implications, Earth lore. Like, forget gem lore. I care about fucking the economy of Beach City, the leadership, where, like, who are the city council members. We know who the mayor is. Who are the city council members? Connie's got a fat hand because in this shot you only see her. Wait, yeah, you only see her like regular hand, and then I mean she has a falconer's glove on. Saddam is canon in Steven Universe. Nice. Shirt Club stream, do not talk about real life sniper events challenge, impossible. I think that's such a weird, I don't want to talk about, I want to save the Shirt Club discussion for the stream because I'll put it this way. I don't think that episode's like, I don't hate that episode. I think it's the worst in season 1 in all honesty, but that episode is, like, incredibly difficult to make a video about because it's fucking Shirt Club. And then the next one's gonna be goddamn Say Uncle. How the... What am I supposed to talk about in that episode? I also don't hate that one. In fact, I think it's fun. I think it's funny. But what the hell do I say? Shirt Club is the most mid episode ever. It's one of the lowest. I mean, Say Uncle is the lowest. If we're going by IMDb metrics, Say Uncle is the lowest rated on IMDb, and then Shirt Club follows right behind it. Shirt Club is like a 7 or something, and Say Uncle is like a 5.6. I don't hate Say Uncle. Maybe I just like that like nonsense YouTube poop type humor. Remembering that Steven Universe art piece with Hitler and Steven... I'm remembering the one with Hitler where Garnet's like, sorry, Steven, we're gonna have to kill that guy. Hold on. Like, we can't just solve all of our problems with, we can't solve all of our problems by talking them out. This is it. What if you could change your mind to Hitler? I think we're gonna have to kill this guy, Steven. Damn. Just Steven saying damn is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. I don't know, I just imagining him saying damn. It's pretty good. I love that comic. It's like like of all the fan creations that are out there, I think that one's one of my favorite. I like this little bit. I'm just going to play this a little bit where Connie talks about like an Infinity Fair, which I'm stealing and putting in my Pathfinder campaign. Where just like the way she's animated is so fucking cool. I don't know. The poses and stuff. It's nice. Do I play Fallout 4? You have asked that question like 8 times now. And I do not. Very expressive animation. I will praise the storyboard artist for doing this really cool poses and expressions. And then also berate them for doing this shit where Connie's a fucking giant Tawny. I always get hungry looking at, yeah, those animated cartoon-ass turkey legs used to make my kid self so hungry. Whenever I see, like, mutton or, like, turkey legs or chicken legs or whatever, usually turkey legs. I like turkey legs better. When I see that in a cartoon, I immediately, like, mouth water. Yum. Wait, we're back to these stools? I didn't even pay attention to stools in this episode. They were pretty consistent, but we lost the square stools without the backs, and these square stools have the backs. We're back to these ones. Whoa, there's another source in chat? Hell yeah. Stool continuity alert. The stool continuity is intact this episode. Other than the fact that they're the wrong stools. The stools don't, like, move around because this is quite literally the only shot that they are in. This is making me want to go back and play Breath of the Wild. Though I ripped that game from the cart that I have so I could emulate it. And I got a new graphics card, and the Switch emulator that I use just doesn't work all that well with the new graphics card. Because I wanted to do, like, fucking 60 frames per second and not have to buy like, add a mod in to do higher frame rates. And not have to buy the Switch 2 version and a Switch 2. Gemology. Thank you for the $5. Gemology. Thank you for the super chat. How do you even say your name? Iwohadus. Iwohadus. That's it. Do you think Rose ever took Greg into the room? I think he probably has been in here. I think that's why the Greg that Steven creates is so cohesive. Maybe. Ewohadus. Okay. Ewohadus. Wait, Eowohadus. Okay. Eowohadus. I'll just say it like that. The only Zelda game I've actually gotten more than like halfway through. Link to the Past is my favorite Ocarina, or my favorite Zelda game. Ocarina of Time, I think I got halfway through and I never finished. I have that. Weirdly enough, I have that one for the GameCube. You know, they like the GameCube version where it has Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and then Master Quest, where it's like the same game but the dungeons are different. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are really good because they're very accessible games. That's one you can just pick up and like chill out with. And just kind of do whatever. Like the same things I do in Skyrim is just fuck around and like kill monsters and build shit. Or explore. In other Zelda games, I would say linear, even though there are open world Zelda games. But Breath of the Wild was the first, like, truly open world where you had, like, multiple quests you can be completing and stuff like that. In Ocarina of Time and things like that, you have those other quests, but they're, like, very rigid. Like, there's only one way to pull them off, really. The room has the Stevens perspective only rule. The room follows the same rule as the writers. I think Breath of the Wild was a lot of people's first exposure to Zelda. So I think going into something that free and then trying to get into the comparatively more linear games kind of killed their chances. They, yeah, Breath of the Wild was an exception. And then they made Tears of the Kingdom as a sequel. What is this fucking dragon lizard? This looks like one of those, the fat bulbous dragons from How to Train Your Dragon. Isn't Zelda the green guy? No, that's Luigi. Fucking idiot! Would you buy a plushie of this guy, yes or no? Did they make this guy with the intention of selling a plushie? Because they don't... I don't believe they ever did they? I personally like this episode because it's just fun. I think looking at it... I said this about Shirt Club. Looking at it through the lens of, like, analysis, I just don't find it to be a very good episode. Because there's not anything to analyze. There's no substance. It's fun, but it's like junk food. You know, it's a good episode, I agree. But there's no... It's not like high art. It's not cinema to any level, to any degree. What's interesting is that since it's based on a book series, Stephen and Connie probably picture everything totally differently. Yeah, it's like reading books. Like I read Dune, right? I watched the first Dune movie and then I read the book front to back before the second movie came out. So I had these pictures in my head of like what the things are and what they look like, and then the movie comes out and like the person who the director of that has like an entirely different vision. So this like dragon lizard thing could totally look different in Connie's mind adaptation, Mind Palace. I'm surprised. I don't know. I feel like I've said it in the video. Steven, his imagination doesn't include like of magical fantasy shit. Doesn't really include magic because that's just his real life. I think the implication is that like this could like look way more fucked up and like more like a monster, but since Steven has like already seen gem monsters, like those are real, then he imagines something fantasy, which is something big and cute and a little lizard guy. Look at him. Connie Clone is creepy as fuck. I find her more creepy than stuff from the first Rose's Room episode. It is weird because her mannerisms up until like right around here when they're hiding behind the cart, it's like her mannerisms are pretty much like on point other than agreeing with everything. So I find it creepy that people use AI chatbots as fucking therapists and stuff. I got comments or like Premiere chat messages or whatever saying like, am I pro AI? And that's a very much it depends. Like I have more of a... The internet likes to be very black and white on that debate. And I feel like my opinion on AI is more nuanced. Also the fact that like AI is basically meaningless because any algorithm could be AI. But the black and white, like, AI good, AI bad thing on the internet is getting really annoying, really tiring. Because AI is such, like, an umbrella term for a fucking billion different technologies at this point. What do you think Rose used her room for? Porn. No, I'm just saying, they did a Star Trek The Next Generation episode where a guy, was using the holodeck for fucking... For personal gratification. For the same things as other gems. I'm wondering if, that's kind of the default of, like, how the other gems' rooms look when they don't quite exist. Like, if Pearl went poof and they try to go into her room, if it would just be a bunch of clouds. So if, like, I can imagine this room having been, like, fully constructed when Rose was around. I don't know. Pearl and Amethyst use it for storage. I don't think Pearl... I guess Pearl uses it for storage, but she usually only uses her own gem as storage. What happens to all the shit inside Pearl if her fucking gem breaks? Like, does it all, like, spill out of the gem like a Diablo character when they die and all the fucking shit gets thrown on the ground? Or a Minecraft character, rather. Minecraft is probably more relatable. Gone, reduced to atoms, but they're not even atoms. They're just, like, inside this rock, fake rock. Item explosion. There'd be, like, there's shit like fucking guns and stuff in there and, like, knives. I don't want to be around Pearl when that ends up happening inevitably. You'd think gems would use the ability to make reality warping buildings with rooms that are infinite in size more if just anyone could do it. That is... But I don't think anyone could do it. I think it was... The room has something to do with rose quartz, i.e. Diamond powers. So I feel like... Okay, Connie's like correct height in this shot. This episode has no excuse anymore. The inside of her gem is pretty much a pocket dimension. I'm gonna... Okay, I got... We're on the topic of pocket dimension. I'm gonna mention my lion tree dimension thing real quick, right? So in a single pale rose, or Steven goes into Pearl's fucking gem, and there's like a whole dimension inside there, right? My like headcanon theory thing is that the lion dimension is the... It is the rose quartz inside her gem pocket dimension. The same way Pearl had a pocket dimension. And rose quartz didn't know that lion would have been, like, the access point to that dimension, right? So Steven is going inside his own gem? Quite possibly. I would say that's entirely possible. If Steven goes inside Lion and then they kill Lion, like, I think he's just trapped there forever. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, Over the Garden Wall with Wirt, who is like a gnome. Okay, chat. Speaking of Over the Garden Wall, I have a plan for the future. I want to make an analyzing Over the Garden Wall in like one long video, like one like 2-hour long video. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a lot of work, but I think it'll be fun. Like Gemology, but it's Over the Garden Wall, and it's all like like one long ass fucking feature length film. How many of you in chat? I'm gonna do a vote or a poll. Can I do a poll? We're gonna do a poll. Have you seen Over the Garden Wall? Yes or no? That's one of my favorite shows, just for the fact that it's like it's a mini series and it's like perfectly cohesive. It's so hard to find like things to look at. My favorite shot in this whole episode is Connie killing herself. I mean, Connie killing fake Connie, where it's like darkened. I use that for the thumbnail, which this is like cool. This is like the one cool shot. Are we dissecting this episode frame by frame? There's not a lot to dissect in this one. We got about 50% of people who have seen it. I highly recommend it if you can find it somewhere. I don't know if it's on any fucking streaming services or anything. Only half of you have seen it? I watched it when it came out, and my roommates in my 20s had a brief tradition of watching it every fall. My friends and I had a couple friends. I have a friend who that is his favorite cartoon of all time, and we watched it at the beginning of October this year. I hadn't seen it in a couple years, so it was worth watching. What is this thing? What is this? Is that a mask? Why does she need a mask on her waist? I also saw I saw Over the Garden Wall when it premiered. I also saw it when it reran as it was edited together like a movie. Like there was no cuts between the episodes. It was just like one right after another. It was very interesting. Stole it from a golden raccoon. Ugh. It's the waste peanut. Over the Garden Wall supercut. My thing with a mini-series, and I feel like they would be very fun to cover in a video, because a mini-series, like, start to finish, has to be planned, like, all at once, right? If you go in knowing it's only going to be, what was Go Over the Garden Wall, 20 episodes? No, 10 episodes. It was even shorter. There's no like time to waste. Like every frame of that fucking show is intentional. And it's like, oh, it would be so much fun to fucking go over. White eye patch. Do they make a white eye patch in real life that's not just like a bandage taped to your face? So there was a comment also saying that like Connie in the wedding dress is foreshadowing Pink Pearl somehow. I don't know about that one. First of all, I don't think that's, if it is alluding to Pink Pearl, then foreshadowing is absolutely not the correct word. People love to use foreshadowing in like absolutely the wrong way. There's no foreshadowing in this episode. Because foreshadowing generally has to be about an event. It's a coincidence, if anything, I agree. It's just look eye patch, her eyes covered in Pink Pearl got a broken eye. Yeah, it's pretty much like human pattern-seeking brain trying to pattern-seek in places where there are no patterns. There's something with the eye, foreshadowing. Every episode is foreshadowing. There are no filler episodes. Also, what's wrong with her neck? Is her neck usually this, like, scrawny? How do you fit any, like, veins or food through there? If she was wearing a pink dress, then it'd be a different story. Yeah, if it was a pink dress, then that would be very much intentional. I do kind of see where someone would get the idea that this is like a pink pearl analogy. Hold on. Because of the, like, the pom-poms, kind of. I feel like it's reverse, though. I feel like they what do you call it? They used this design for Connie in a dress, and they decided to reuse it for, like, reuse a vaguely similar design for Pink Pearl. Let me see, because of, I don't know. I do see, like, the similarity. I think it's absolutely not foreshadowing, but I do think they kind of used a vaguely similar design for Pink Pearl. I think that's what ended up happening. Unless there's evidence that Pink Pearl existed at the point that this episode was storyboarded and stuff. The Princess Leia hair. Yeah, you're right. Have you seen the interpretation that the moon goddess is supposed to be some gem creator god thing? Yes, that was my interpretation. I have seen that one because it was me. Unless someone else did it before me, I don't know. I think it was the proto gem. I think it was the moon goddess is like one of the creators of the original gems. Filler exists outside of anime. Cartoon Network ordered 52 episodes of this show. They had to fill 52 episodes, and they didn't have enough to, I don't know, they had to fill that order. It's filler. You ever notice this image? Who took this photo? I've done the filler rant. If you want to hear my filler rant, it was all the way back in Onion Trade. My qualification for filler is if the characters in the world haven't changed between the start and the end of the episode. If there is no advancement to either the characters or the world, then I would consider it filler. Filler means stuff in the show that I don't personally think needs to be there. It's very subjective. I agree with that. Filler is an issue later on, but early on it helps explore characters. I agree. I think this episode is... Again, it's not all filler is bad. Not every bad episode is filler. I think this episode is good, but still filler. And if a term originated in anime... That doesn't mean it's, like, exclusively an anime term. I don't know. I have my own personal definition, which I feel like is objective as I can try to be, even though like calling an episode filler is subjective. Which is, again, it's if the characters in the world end the episode the exact way they started the episode, then I would consider that filler. Like, I don't think anything in this episode was explored between Steven and Connie that wasn't explored in other episodes. This episode could be removed from the show. There's also a reason this episode premiered after the season 1 finale, is because it didn't need to premiere before the season 1 finale. Because there was an overarching story that was happening, and they couldn't let this one get in the way of the story. It's one of those cultural things that just got abstracted all the way down to thing I don't like. Yeah. If you don't eat at least 52 burgers, then you aren't a true American. That means you gotta eat a burger a week. I could do that. That seems easy enough. I think your definition is serviceable, and we can easily understand what you mean by it and how you use it. I feel like I have to reiterate that every filler, every episode that I determine as filler, because I feel like a lot of people haven't heard me say that before, because people skip the onion trade episode because it's a filler episode. I'm sorry. I won't scream. Steven literally learned how to use his shield from Uncle Grandpa. I am going to mention that in the Say Uncle video. And perhaps that Say Uncle entirely took place inside this room. Or, alternatively, that Say Uncle is canon, it did happen, and Uncle Grandpa is just a fucking liar, and also, like, mind-wiped everyone. Or didn't, and just, like, that just all fucking happened. I like Onion Trade more than Onion Gang. Yeah, Onion Gang is an episode that I have quite... I think I've seen that episode like twice, and every time I rewatch the show, I've skipped it. Because it's so pointless. Other than the final scene where Onion gets abducted by freaking aliens. Say Uncle isn't canon except for the intro, because he said, "Don't worry, this isn't canon, but this is," and then the rest of the episode is canon. I can't find any flaws in that logic. It is a little bit fucked, because that's the episode that Steven learns to use his shield. Like, after that point, Steven can just, like, use his shield on command in a lot of cases. This is also not the lizard dragon that was previously. Can I get like a 6-foot long one of these as a pillow? Just like sleep on top of it. Can I get one a little longer than 6 feet? I think 6 feet, my feet would hang off the end. It looks like the Adventure Time dragons. It does. It's the Adventure Time dragons are real lumpy looking, aren't they? Let me look up a Adventure Time. Whoops. I know though there was that one episode where they cut a fucking dragon in half. I wouldn't doubt that it is based on an Adventure Time dragon, because that was in fact a show that Rebecca Sugar storyboarded on. It's a really low quality image, but there you go. They got these weird, like, translucent sacks and the tiny wings. I really wish more characters besides Sadie got a killed a gem monster notch on their belt. Like if they had Ronaldo deal with the topaz from the lighthouse. That... I was always thinking about that. Like, what if Ronaldo, like, got to take down a gem monster? Like, the lighthouse gem monster, specifically. That guy, the dragon... Finn cut one of these guys in half down the middle at one point in one episode. Did you guys know that between doing Gemology and doing an Adventure Time analysis, it was up to like a coin flip before I started. Like I didn't know which one I was gonna do, and then I told some friends about my idea, and they're like, should I do Adventure Time or Steven Universe? And they said, do the one you're more familiar with, which is Steven Universe. And I was like, okay. But yeah, the butt. I mean, Adventure Time loves their butt jokes, and they put a lot of sexual things into that show. Very, very strange show. Very good show, however. I liked Adventure Time. And I am overdue to watch that front to back. I don't think I ever watched it front to back. Doing Adventure Time in the future would be great. It would be a lot. How many episodes are there? Because there's like all of the episodes, and then there's Distant Lands and Fiona and Cake, which I haven't been keeping up, so no spoilers! I know. Whoa. Let me think that sentence again. The only thing I know is that there's like a grass Fiona. I've only seen like a screenshot of it. I don't know anything about it. There's 10 seasons of Adventure Time? Jesus, good lord. I think maybe at that point I would hire like an editor. And once I get done with Steven Universe and perhaps Lars of the Stars, because I'm going to guess that that's going to be out by the time I'm done with Gemology. And by done with Gemology, I mean done with the main series of the movie and future. Why is there no like definitive answer to how many episodes? There's 283 episodes. I remember when The Simpsons came out with their 300th episode, and it was like a huge fucking deal. Meanwhile, Adventure Time has 283 episodes, like nearly 100. Good God. That's not including Fiona and Cake. Sorry, we've been looking at this dragon for a while I just yap. I wish there was like other things to look at. I gotta come up with like some fucking Subway Surfers or some shit to have on while the episode is paused and I'm looking at other shit. Oh! Steven Universe has around 150 episodes with the future combined. I think you're right. I think that is correct. 150-ish. This dragon does not exist. That's so sad. Make a dumb gif of Steven falling over and then just play it in the corner and have it bounce around like a DVD logo. If I like, if... Oh, I gotta find a way to like detect if the stream is like... Has a, some shit like paused for way too long. Or, I don't know if you guys know who Charborg is. He's like this streamer guy. He always had these cool things on his, like, layered onto his stream. There was one thing he did where his mods could, like, put an image on his screen. They would put, like, text or, like, a GIF or something. And they could, like, put it on his stream like there was an overlay. I want to figure out how to do that. I think that would be fun. Just, like, if I'm just talking, I could have a mod or someone, like, draw mustaches or something on characters or whatever. I don't know why that's where my mind went immediately, but that's what I would do, is just fucking draw mustaches on characters or, like, give them devil horns. Never really zoomed in on this image. Pearl looks very upset at what's going on. Pearl does not seem ready for a selfie. Two years of gemology ahead. That's kind of the idea. I did want to do it once a week. I think once a week is the perfect number, the perfect amount of time to like work on shit, because okay, I always see, first of all, I always see this frame. I think Connie's doing like the cat mouth, like the 3 emote. But it's just, when if you zoom out like this, it looks like she's doing the fucking 3. When you zoom in, you realize it's just her little dimples or whatever. What I was saying is that, I wanted to... Part of it is that I want to space out the amount of time it takes me to make one of these. Because I do have enough shit going on that I can only really... This music is, like, way too epic for me to be... Let me turn it down on the stream end. It's, like, I got full-time job going on and shit. And I want to be able to make videos. So once a week is, like, the perfect amount of time to balance with all that shit. But also to kind of stretch it out over those 2 years. I feel like it would be... It's good to do it, to stretch it out that much to, like, grow an audience from a YouTube perspective, from a fucking tuber business point of view, you know? I draw so many characters with Connie's style of a nose for some reason. I feel like this is just, like, from, like, a not-so-cartoony point of view, this is just how noses look. Like, they kind of, maybe in the middle of your eyes. Maybe Connie's is a little bit tall, but they start, like, it's the bone in the middle of your eyes starts coming down, and then it's all pointy. Some people have, like, more linear noses than others. Some people have pointy noses. Anything more frequent than that feels like it would just be super taxing. Unless it was your full-time job. If I ever made YouTube a full-time job, I would still do Gemology once a week. But I would have like other channels. That's kind of my plan, actually. I'm working at a school currently, and I feel like by the end of the school year, I'll be financially supported enough by YouTube that I could just do YouTube. Curved nose due to Indian heritage. I feel like I want to search that up, but I also feel like Googling Indian nose on just going on Google and searching Indian nose is kind of like weird. Why does the room make Steven kneel down? How does the room do that? Is Steven a room clone? Wait. Because nothing like physically... Oh, he gets a bow tie and a suit. I understand now. I thought the room just like made him kneel down. That's very strange. Steven's slit nostrils equals secretly a snurson. If Steven was a snurson, he would be able to see an infrared with his nose, his slit nose. Steven was a clone the whole time? If any of you guys have seen Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I'm watching that one with my dad. And I just got to the episode where they do a prototype holodeck. I don't know. I'm going to talk about Strange New Worlds spoilers if anyone like cares. So click off for like a good like 3 minutes if you don't want any of that. But there's a holodeck episode. They get like a prototype holodeck on the Enterprise. And the security officer gets to test it out and like push it to its limits. So she like wants it to do a mystery, and it becomes like this murder mystery. But when she goes in, it's like Spock's in there, and he's fucking like doing fucking like a maintenance or whatever. And by the end of the episode, she calls Spock in because she can't like figure out who the murderer is. And by the end of the episode, it reveals that Spock is like generated by the room. And he was the murder mystery guy the whole time. Okay, Strange New World spoilers over. Return to the stream now. Actually, you can't be listening if you left. Do these houses have anything inside? No, the room would not have done... This is straight up... Is this the same, like, sign from Skyrim? I'm looking up, like... Oh, it is! Holy shit! Wait, it's very similar. I wish I was playing the Falkreath Blacksmith. Or this is just the blacksmith sign in Skyrim, but it's reused in a bunch of different areas where there's a blacksmith. It's the same design. There's the fucking background artist is a Skyrim gamer. Very neat. Very cool. I always thought that was familiar looking. I specifically know the Skyrim blacksmith sign because I know whenever there is one, and and I'm running by it, I always intentionally bash my head into it because it like has physics and it swings around when you bash your head into it. That little hut in general looks great. I feel like they were able to put a lot of effort into doing these backgrounds because they didn't really need a lot of backgrounds for this episode. Like, they have the house, which is reused. They have the room, which is just a bunch of clouds. Like, you just draw clouds and then you, like, draw more clouds from just a bunch of times. So then whoever does the backgrounds on this episode has the opportunity to just do these like hyper detailed fucking cool medieval fantasy houses. Love the organic looking roof tiles on the blacksmith shop. Yeah, these are neat. I don't know if this was like referenced off of a real like European, like old ass European house from England or something. I'm sure it was. There's a lot of those in, like, England, like, houses that are over 300 years old or whatever that just can't be demolished because they're, like, heritage sites or something. Where does the staircase go? What is this? Oh, this is literally a fucking Skyrim blacksmith, like, pit back here. There's a sword here, too. I wonder if some of these could just be, like, the background artist just like, I want to draw a cool house one day, and then they're like, well, I'll never get to use this, so we'll use it in the fucking holodeck episode. Steven Sugar did a lot of these types of background drawings. Yeah. I think he's primarily... Let's see the credits, in fact, of this episode. See who did backgrounds. Character design, background. Steven Sugar, Emily Walrus. I know it's Wallace, but it's Walrus. Make fun of people's names because it's funny. If I ever meet this person, I'm going to call her Emily Walrus to her face. There's functioning family bakeries older than America. It's interesting to think, first of all, that America is not a very old country. Secondly, that's just a thing. There's like 300-year-old like businesses and stuff. Family bakery funny moments. Did they ever have like bread delivery? You know how they had before the United States like highway system and before Walmarts were in every city with more than 10,000 people, or more than 5,000 people even. Do you think they ever had do they have bread delivery? If you lived in the country and you need your bread like every week or so, they have to do that, right? Because you wouldn't like go to Like, if you need bread and you don't have, like, flour and shit, unless you just did it yourself, you could always do that. You want to see the loaf of bread that I made earlier today? Let me pull that up. It wasn't big enough to make sandwiches in. I need to make, like, 50% bigger. You mean this? Come on, there we go. There's a bread. I did an egg wash on it, so it's like really shiny looking, real fluffy and real crusty. Fluffy inside, crusty, like crunchy outside. It's really good. I am a bread man. I pride myself in being able to make bread without measuring anything. Like I can just fucking eyeball it and make a loaf of bread. If you're ever in a city center, there'd be a baker within walking distance, and he probably, if not, you probably made your own. Yeah. I'm just thinking of maybe just because stuff like flour isn't perishable. But things like milk and eggs are, so milk and eggs would get delivered like once a week or whatever. But bread, I don't know. I feel like that's like an untapped thing that you could straight up just do. Is open a bakery, and the gimmick is that you do like a subscription, and like every week you get a fucking loaf of bread or whatever. Like you don't go into the bakery to get your baked goods. They have a delivery system and they deliver the bread. I don't fucking know. Business idea, any of you who open that business, I get a 12% cut of all revenue. The gimmick is that you don't bake the bread, you just give them uncooked stuff. That's just Papa Murphy's. That's just take and bake pizza. I actually really fucking like Papa Murphy's. It's good, but at the same time, like, I could just do that myself. I think about that with a lot of food. Like, every time I see processed, like, cupcakes and shit, like Hostess cupcakes or whatever, I'm like, I could just make cupcakes, you know? You tell them to eat it raw. You just get bread dough and you just eat it raw. Bread dough, surprisingly enough, it doesn't actually taste all that good unbaked. Wouldn't people back then usually go to the market once a week? I don't think door-to-door delivery was popular. Well, there was a thing called a milkman. Like, you would get your milk and eggs delivered to your house, like, once a week. That's just a thing that happened. People didn't go to the store all the time. Rich source master owning the poor? Am I rich for making my own desserts? Because it's literally cheaper to make your own desserts than it is to buy them. If I make loaf of bread, for example, if I make a loaf of bread, it's about like 15 cents between sugar, flour, water. If I go to Walmart and I buy a loaf of bread, it's like $3 or $4. Why is Connie drawn like an Owl House character in that frame? Is it just the... Is it the pants? Why? I don't know why she's got like... all the way up... What is it? All the way up Griffin legs? Like, they just keep going forever. She's like... She's way lanky in this shot, is what I'm trying to say. Go into the private school where you learn how to save money on, like... Maybe I need to start, like, a finance channel, because I guess I know more things about fucking money than most people. Start all the channels. Hire an editor and just make them edit 24/7. That's how you waste money. Did milkmen travel by horse before? I think they did. I think they had, like, a horse... Like, a wagon pulled by a horse. Milk delivery wagon. I'm looking this up because now I'm curious. Yeah, it's these guys. Let me open this up. It would be like a dairy company that would have delivery. They'd have like a ice box back here. And then a fucking... milk horse, yeah. I do, now that I think about it more, I do think that you would, a lot of people would have just baked their own bread if they didn't live in a city. Got some fancy shit. Well, it's fancy shit now because, like, horse-pulled wagons are seen as some kind of luxury. In this time, in the fucking... Before, like, the 1930s, this was just pretty standard. Like, you would see these guys all over. And then the motor vehicle came... The automobile, if you will, came along. Oh, check this out. I use Zen Browser, not sponsored because it's an open source project. I got all these fucking tabs open. I can click this button. Boom. It closes all but the ones I'm on and the one that's playing music. Isn't that fucking neat? I like that. And then you can have your pinned tabs that are that don't get closed that you like need forever. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Zen Browser. It's good. Not sponsored. It's free and open source. When it comes to software, I will never recommend... I will never, like, shill software that's not like that. You know, like, Opera's gonna come to me and say, do you want us to sponsor Gemology? I'm gonna be like, no, because Opera is not free open source software. I think the desert glass is a normal gem that was put on the pillow upon poofing like lapis on the mirror. I agree with that, and I think that the fact that it was doing those pillars and shit is it was the fact that it was corrupted, so it lost the ability to like continue building to like build what it was intended to build. Steven looks like he's trying to force out a fart without pooping himself. What if the desert glass is also a terraforming gem? What even is a desert glass? What is that? Is that like when lightning hits sand and then it turns to glass? Desert glass. Oh, there is just straight up something called Libyan desert glass. Impactite. What geologic origin? I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for Libyan desert glass. Get out of here, Wikipedia. I'll donate later. The origin is uncertain, so that's like fitting for that's very fitting for how the desert glass exists in Steven Universe. Do you think gems outside of like the Diamond Authority exist? Just like, do you think a fucking, like on Earth, for example, do you think like a meteor could crash down, or like a volcano could erupt and create a rock in a specific way that it's like it just becomes sentient? Is that just a thing that can happen in this world? Was it ever confirmed if salt is a canonical gem? I don't think so. That would be really badass. That could be like the anti-gem idea for the Lars of the Stars villain, is that there's like this planet and a fucking volcano erupted and it just created this, it created like black diamond or whatever, and it's the only male gem. Whoa. It's not gonna be fucking black diamond. There's no way. If it's black diamond, I'm gonna eat a fucking dog nut on stream. Metals? Ooh, wait, bismuth is a metal. Never mind. Metals already exist. Bismuth is a metal, but also is a crystallized metal. So I don't know how to do that one. If it's fucking, I will eat it. I will straight up eat a whole nut dog on, or a dog nut on stream. If fucking black diamond shows up in Lars of the Stars, I swear to fucking God, that would be the dumbest shit, and I would laugh my ass off. I would like stop taking the show seriously if that happens. Wait, I'm realizing this. I guess Steven doesn't understand the significance of kneeling, because you don't kneel when you're at the wedding. You kneel when you propose a wedding. Steven has his like ideals all fucked. I better eat the dog nut. I'd probably end up eating a dog nut like anyway, you know. Steven never went to school. Do they teach you about kneeling when you propose to your future wife in school? I never learned that. I learned that through osmosis and watching the video where the guy kneels down in front of his girlfriend and then like pulls his phone out and takes a picture of her feet. If any of you know that video, that's like really, I don't know, I find that video really funny. This cart is fucked. Wait. This handle is supposed to be on the side that you like lift the side up that has the legs, and then you roll it like a wheelbarrow, right? This doesn't seem right. I always thought the gems weren't actual rocks and just supercomputers. Well, I talked about this at the very, very, very beginning of the stream. Uh, when Steven and Peridot are drilling through the mantle to get to the cluster, Peridot is like, this is peridotite. It's what peridots are made out of. So like, they are straight up made out of the material that they're named, right? I was gonna point out the cart thing earlier, but I thought I would be too pedantic. I think the stream is the opportunity to point out the nitpick shit. That's when I'm gonna have the I'm gonna be able to do that, because if I do that in the video, first of all, the videos are gonna be like 30 minutes long each if I just nitpick everything, and it would end up turning into crystal sins. Secondly, we have time. What else is there to analyze in this episode? There's like 3 things that happen in this episode. This cart would be very frustrating to try to push. Clocks use quartzes. That is true. Every digital clock has a little quartz crystal inside where they pump electricity into it, and then it vibrates at a certain frequency that can easily be converted back into seconds and minutes. You'd have to push it down and the front would come up. It's like a reverse wheelbarrow. It looks awful. The handle would have to be on this side to make it make any sense. Piezoelectric effect. That is the one. I don't know anything about how it works. That's beyond me. I'm no fucking microphysicist. React to Peridot's audition live. Hell yeah, we're gonna watch Peridot's audition on stream, of course. Do you think the book plot is intended to reflect the show plot? Mention of rebellion? I think rebellion exists in so many stories that it's like, it's impossible. Like it might as well be a reference to Star Wars, because rebellion happens in fucking like a ton of different stories. It's a reference to Half-Life 2. There's a lot of rebellions. What are some fantasy rebellions? I was gonna say Lord of the Rings, but no, that's just a war. That's not even a rebellion. Yeah, you need more parallels than just that. You need more parallels for a pink pearl analog than just an eye patch and an eye patch and like hair poofies. I don't know. Combine made the gems confirmed. Could Steven beat the Combine? I don't know. The Combine have like, they have like the ability to fucking put a guy in a different body kind of shit. I don't know. Steven has that ability. I could beat the Combine as Gordon Freeman. If Steven had a gravity gun, he could beat the Combine. Lisa marrying a bird is paralleling Greg marrying a rock. I don't think Greg never married Rose Quartz. No, Steven's a bastard. You're a bastard, Jon Snow. Future Steven probably could beat... Yes, Future Steven with a gravity gun could beat the Combine. Current Steven with a gravity gun probably wouldn't have the balls to kill anybody. To, like, kill fucking Dr. Breen or whatever. Greg is from Keystone. What the hell's Pennsylvania? Is that like Transylvania? Pennsylvania doesn't freaking exist in this universe. I learned that the suffix Sylvania just means like a forest. So Pennsylvania is Penn's forest. Who was Pennsylvania named after? There's a guy named, like, William Penn? Hold on. Like, whoever the fucking founder was. William Penn. I was right, I think. Did I say William Penn? Transylvania is Woke Forest. No, that's where you get your car, the gear shift repaired.
Back in my day, blowing a tranny meant you had car problems. Now it means something totally different.
Okay, Grandpa. I don't know what else there is to say about this episode. I feel like I didn't talk about the episode at all because I pretty much said everything there was to say in the video, other than, like, that sign is, like, a Skyrim reference. And that's pretty much it, because, like, what the hell else is there in this episode? Could Steven beat Goku? Oh, we're gonna talk about power scaling in the Say Uncle episode. I would say Pink Steven could not beat Goku. Don't at me. And also, when we get to Say Uncle, I'm gonna have like a long power scaling. That is the perfect episode to have a power scaling discussion about this show. How does she do this without smacking into the umbrella? That's like smooth. Could Steven beat Charlie Morningstar? If that's the bitch from Has Been Hotel, then yes. Does God exist in Steven Universe? I don't think so. Just like real life, tips Fedora. I kid, I don't know. Though, Abrahamic religion exists, so I would have to assume that God exists in, like, a religious standpoint, like the Abrahamic God exists, because Abrahamic religion has been proved to exist. Both Connie and the cart are made of the same cloud? Yeah. Like fake Connie. What if this is... Wait. No, this isn't real. What if... What if this is fake Connie? What if they did another Star Trek The Next Generation episode where they create a fucking holodeck person and they take them off of the holodeck? Like they somehow pull off like getting a holodeck guy to like leave. And then this is like holodeck Cloud Connie, and that's the Connie that has existed throughout the entire series. Literally no evidence pointing toward that, but it's just like a fun thought experiment. White Diamond is low-key God. I don't think White Diamond has ever, like, exhibited any godlike abilities. She can do, like, mind control, but that's not, like, God. Like, God doesn't do mind control. I don't know. I also am not religious, and I don't, like, know Bible stuff. I don't... Does God mind control people in the Bible? White Diamond is just kind of big. Gems can just do wild stuff inherently. Yeah, they're just magic. I don't think White Diamond is God. I think she's just magic. But just like really, really good magic. If you could cast Wish on command, like D&D Wish, we're getting into D&D discussions. It's that time of the stream. If you could cast Wish like on demand with no limits, then you become God. But I don't think White Diamond can do that because White Diamond literally lost. God-like? I think she has the stature of a god to the gems, you know? In a hierarchy kind of perspective, she's goddess in stature. You know how that there's like that quote where it's like sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. But I'm also thinking like sufficiently advanced magic would be indistinguishable from like godhood, right? I think that's the whole premise of like H.P. Lovecraft's work. You know, like you have these creatures, these cosmic beings from like other worlds basically, and they're so ridiculous and like powerful and shit that they're like seen as like gods, as deities basically. Not to say that anyone, I don't know, I haven't like specifically read much Lovecraft, so I don't know if people actually worship Cthulhu or whatever. She's doing the hand thing. Yeah, I zoomed in specifically to just point that out while I was talking about Cthulhu and Lovecraft. They feel like pharaohs, but if pharaohs could do magic. But also if regular people could also do magic. But they're just really big. He's a cult? That makes sense. I gotta play. I have the Call of Cthulhu game. Like, I gotta play some of that. I've had this cool idea. I've probably talked about this before for a Call of Cthulhu campaign. It would take place in modern day. And the characters, I'd have to like pre-make the characters in terms of stats. And the characters are a sound guy and a camera guy. And the premise of the whole of the whole show, or of the whole campaign, is that you're a camera guy and a sound guy on like a show or like a YouTube channel, like a ghost hunting YouTube channel. And the hosts of the ghost channel are NPCs that like take you to these different wacky fucking haunted places throughout the country. And they don't like they're playing it up like it's all like fake. We make this up because it's funny and we get a lot of ad revenue for it. And then the main player characters would find out that ghosts are in fact real, and they're the only ones who like realize that. He became a monster. He didn't get corrupted. I agree that I don't think the monster Steven is corrupted. Cuz no one specifically says that he's corrupted. I don't know. He just changed form. Cuz he just changed back himself. Like nobody did that to him and nobody like fixed him. Did you ever hear about that study that linked a lot of ghost sightings or haunted sites to places with a specific type of very low frequency? I have heard that, and I talked about this on stream before. That it's like, what is it, like 19 hertz? That's like the resonant frequency of your eyeballs. And then you, like if this, you can't hear it, it's infrasound. But it vibrates your fucking brain, your eyeballs in such a way that it, like, you see things and you feel things that just don't exist, that aren't real. It makes you just like really uncomfortable. Enough emotional trauma can permanently change the gem's physical form. That is the entire point of the episode Volleyball. That the volleyball pearl, pink pearl, got her form physically permanently altered by the mental anguish that was caused by Pink Diamond being a fucking lunatic. "19 hertz? I don't think I was very hurt when I was 19. I can't remember being hurt. I didn't like break any bones or anything. They gotta teach Connie how to use a sword because goddamn girl, that is not good sword form. Look at how open your fucking torso is. Someone should teach Connie how to sword fight. Does Connie have scoliosis? What a weird question. She does kind of like, her fucking spine doesn't quite line up. If you draw, wait, I have a draw tool. Like, that's her. Can I make it thicker? Yes. No. Yes. It straight up looks like, oh, that probably is. Give me a little bit thicker on that one. There we go. Yeah, she has scoliosis in this shot for sure. Whoa. Let me get this freaking tab out of the way. She dislocated her arm and got scoliosis to hold a sword. Yeah, they gotta get Pearl to fucking teach her the correct form. Excuse me. I've always wondered what would happen if you brought an Etch-a-Sketch into the room and asked it to draw something, since it can't show up on cameras. What? That's such a strange... That's a strange thought. Why would you need it... Why would you need the room to, like, do, like, a freaking math equation or something? So you can have, like, proof of it? Why an Etch-a-Sketch? I'm a little lost on this. I could have mentioned that this is the first time Connie holds a sword. I could have mentioned that in the video. I even thought about it, and I just failed to write that into the script. Look at this freaking sword form, dude. I'm just gonna make fun of Connie the whole time. Why is she so short in this shot? I don't think she's short. I think just this collar goes up so much. I think this, like, tunic is just too big. Sword training foreshadowing. I don't think it's foreshadowing. I will say that millions of times over. Maybe it is. I don't know. She's taller throughout most of the episode. Yeah, she is a little bit short. And then her leg gets, like, really freaking long in this. Oh boy, it's foreshadowing Garnet splitting into a bunch of pieces in the finale. 5 or 6 shadowing. Don't say it. Don't say it, chat. Don't say it. I'm sick of it. I work at a fucking elementary school. Okay, thank God. Nobody said it. Somebody said 76. Yep, that's it. Ah, I'm so tempted to just ban you from the chat. I work with 5th graders, right? They have a concept of being annoying and like things that people say that are annoying, and like I'm not going to say that because I don't want to be annoying. And one day I worked with 1st grade for just a day. And 1st graders do not have a concept of how annoying they are. So the whole, like, all day it was just 6-7, 6-7, just all day. It was fucking awful. It'll be something dumb next year. I'm hoping to get out of that. I'm hoping to get into a different environment by next year. Why doesn't Steven stand the fuck up? You're out of the loop. It's, there's nothing to know. It's literally like a nonsense phrase. Ground comfy? Well, it is. Yeah, you're right. It is cloud floor. Connie's still like, oh, look at this. Hold on, let me draw this one. This is her neck, right? Whoa. Scoliosis. Scoliosis Connie. God damn. I don't think I knew any of the cultural reference jokes when I was 4 or 5. Yeah, that's very... It's interesting to think of how much kids these days are allowed to be, like, on the internet and consume YouTube or whatever. Isn't scoliosis to the side? I don't know. This is like she's at a 3/4 angle. Like this could be partly to the side. Either way, her back is fucked. I will shit talk the story part artists. I'll praise them for the one really nice animation when she's like Infinity Fair and she's all this shot of her being all excited of like what can we do in here and we'll do the Infinity Fair and shit. I really love this. This is some of the best animation in the fucking episode. And then there's Scoliosis Connie up ahead. Yeah. Sue did their doable hand did... What? Let me see the double hand thing. Hold on. I need to see every hand thing that they do in this. Whoa. There's one. No, she only did one. It's not double. She did the one, and then not the other. The doable hand thing. I swear, it's a secret. It's a secret symbol. It's a secret society. Chat, however, we have run out of things that, to talk about to the point where we're talking about the doable hand thing, and it's not even doable. So I will probably be ending pretty soon. We're coming up on that 2-hour mark. W for Wicked Witch? Oh, it's the Witch Society. People who draw this, they're like saying, "Oh, this is a witch drawing." Is the brush weird? What? Who animated this? Why is the brush so weird? I don't understand. I think the brush is fine. I think it's just like pixelated. Just the way it's scaling makes it look strange. I think it looks pretty standard. What if it's pointed down and then it's an M? Then it's the Mennonites. I don't fucking know. I was gonna say like Freemasons, but it's or if it's to the side, then it's an E. Or if it's the shape of an L on her forehead. Yeah, it's Mitch. It's the Society of Michaels. So I don't talk about outfits all that much. Connie has like a million different outfits. I think the overalls is like my favorite Connie outfit. I don't know. I feel like when I picture Connie, it's this. That is the Connie It's nice that she rotates outfits. It's nice, yeah, because in, like, any other show, it would be characters wearing the same. Even Steven wears the same fucking outfit throughout the whole show. And I think that's just for branding, but Connie always is wearing different outfits. Rose's room should have been green, so YouTube poops can edit them into hell or something. Can I just chroma key? Does Blender have chroma key? Wait, can I do a chroma key? Strip. I never tried this. Adjustment layer effect strip? I don't even know how to pull that off. Tool modifiers? I don't know. I don't really know. I'm Googling this now while I'm on stream. How do you chroma key? Blender VSE chroma key. Wait, foreground strip. So I gotta do... Huh. I don't know how to do all this nonsense. I'll show you what I'm doing in, like, actual Blender real quick. If you do Shift A, you can add things. Mask. There's no, like, chroma key. What if I... No, I don't know. That's very odd. Strip. Is there a transform? I don't freaking know, dude. That is weird. I never even considered that. Steven does have a lot of different overshirts. Yeah, Steven does have a lot of different outfits, but, like, his main outfit is, like, primarily... It's an exception, not a rule, to have him in a different outfit. But, like, for Connie, it's the rule for her to be in, like, a different outfit every episode. Because she's a real human person and has, like, a lot of clothing. And doesn't wash the same 5. You know, to be honest, I wear, like... I have these overshirts. I have, like, a green zip-up overshirt and, like, a Chicago Cubs fucking thing. And I end up wearing those and just washing them over and over. I feel like when I go to work, people end up seeing me in the same, like, 5 outfits. Anyway, chat room. I think it is time that I call it a night. Because I've been talking for quite a lot, and I'm still not over this fucking sinus infection or whatever the hell this is. I'm blowing my nose, like, all the time. We will return next week. And the shirt club, you know, it's fucking shirt club. Not much to be excited about. But shirt club on Wednesday. And then Say Uncle after that. Well, there's this, I'll do stream. And then after Say Uncle, which ironically, I wouldn't say ironically, but like coincidentally, Say Uncle is the episode that is going to premiere closest to my birthday, which is a week before Christmas. I don't know. My birthday. Maybe I'll do a fucking birthday stream. But anyway, my winter break comes up pretty soon. I have 2 weeks off. to work on videos. I'll probably do some other streams. I'll probably hang out in fucking Discord voice chat for once. I haven't done that in a long time. Steven does a terror attack. Yeah, Steven does... He becomes a fucking spree shooter because they had no idea how to end that episode. Anyway... Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. If you would like to join the freaking Discord, there's a link to that in the description. Other than that, that's all I got. Steven has 3 eyes. Good night, chat room.